Hi everyone, I am here trying to give you guys a presentation, or actually give you the latest update on what is happening with the Uvsas. So I wanted to share this information with you. So thank you for joining me. As I always ask you or tell you to please share the video, because even though it might not be applicable to you, I find that sometimes that you might know someone or someone you may not even think that may need this information. It could be extremely useful for them. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rocio, and I'm an immigration attorney. And I am going to be doing more frequently a lot of videos, a lot of Facebook Live, giving you the most latest information and the most recent updates. And because you're here today, present with me, I'm going to share with you that they just did a breaking news, and I just posted this on my social media, that immigration is now going to go back to the version of 2008 for the citizenship exam. I don't know if you remember, but back in December, I had done another Facebook Live post where they were saying they were now add more questions to the citizenship exam, therefore making it honestly more difficult for my clients. So they were going to increase it to 128 questions instead of 100, and then you have to get correctly 12 questions out of the 20. So making it honestly twice as difficult. So they just announced today, earlier this morning, a couple of minutes ago, that they're going to go back to the old version. So what does that mean? What that means is if you are going to be taking the citizenship exam, they are going to go back to the way it's always been for a while, 100 questions. Out of the 100 questions, you have to memorize and practice and know them. But you only need to get 6 of them correctly when you actually do your interview with immigration. So repeat that again. For those who are barely joining us, I just want to give you the latest update about what is happening with your citizenship exam. It used to be that they had changed it after December 2020, that it was going to be 128 questions. Now we're back to 100 questions, and you only have to know 6 questions instead of 12. So this is a big deal. And so thank you for joining me. This is the little reward you get for following me. Like I promise you, I'm going to be doing a lot of more live events, letting you know about immigration's latest updates. And for now, I do want to get started and start talking about the Uvsa updates. What is happening with my Uvsa? I get a lot of those calls. So that's why I wanted to make this video today, to talk about Uvsa updates. What is going on with my case? I submitted my application. I haven't heard from my attorney. He hasn't done anything on my case. And honestly, sometimes there are times where we can't do anything as your attorney. Once it has been submitted to immigration, it is up to them to process your application and submit it with immigration and for it to get approved. And I'm going to tell you a lot of information as to why there's a huge backlog. So actually, the Uvsas, believe it or not, is one of the strengths that we have here in our office. I've been doing Uvsa since 2008. And I'll give you my example. My first Uvsa that I ever did, it was in regards to a young girl. She was 17 years old, and she was working for a bank, a TCF bank. And she was there working as a teller. So some people came in with a gun, put it to her head. They made her open the safe, and they left. So she had to cooperate with the FBI, with the police department. She was clearly a victim of a crime because they held her at gunpoint. And she cooperated with the authorities. So that's really, really basic with immigration with Uvsas. You have to have a police report. People will ask me, attorney, I've been a victim of domestic violence for 10 years, 20 years. That is not going to count if you do not have a police report. You must have a police report. So my client, going back to the girl who was a teller at TCF, she was able to cooperate with the FBI. She was able to cooperate with the police department, and we were able to request on her behalf, as her attorney, a copy of the police report and what's called a Uvsa certification. So you might be asking, what is a Uvsa certification? A Uvsa certification, basically, it's a sheet, a form that's by immigration in the police department or the agency that investigated the incident. It can also be the Department of Labor. So there are any issues with the Department of Labor where people are not getting paid their wages that they should be paid, or they're not being paid overtime, and they threaten you with, I'm going to call ICE, I'm going to deport you. All those things can rise up to the level of someone being a victim of a crime, and they can qualify for the Uvsa, and eventually you're able to get a green card. So the certification, we were able to actually get it from the FBI for my client, again, the one that was working for TCF. And because she was 17 years old, we're actually able to do a package where we were able to get her Uvsa application, not only for herself, but also for her mom and her dad, because she was under 18, and also something for her brother as well, a Uvsa as well for her brother who was under 18. And so this was actually a wonderful packet that we were able to do for our clients. So yes, something bad happened, but as a result, they cooperated with authorities that were a victim of a crime. They're able to submit an application with immigration and request a U visa. So what are the crimes? The crimes have to be very strong crimes. People have come to me jokingly, hey, my neighbor, he threw a snowball at me. Can I file a police report? Or someone spit at me. Or it cannot be a basic, simple crime. There's actually a specific list on the immigration's website of the number of cases or the number of crimes that actually qualify for a U visa. So it has to be a strong crime. You have to make a police report, and you need to cooperate. So sometimes people will make a police report, but then they don't want to press charges against their husband, for instance, domestic violence, and they don't want to testify. They don't want to continue with the case. At that point, you're not able to continue or apply for a U visa. Like I was saying before, getting the certification from the police department is honestly the first basic step. You can get it from the police department directly. You can also get it from the prosecutor's office. And in Chicago, we have been fortunate enough where we can do orders of protection, and it shows on there that you were a victim of domestic violence. We've been able to get signatures from judges showing that you were a victim of a crime, you cooperated with the authorities, it was an incident that was investigated, and you are willing and still able to cooperate. You're able to apply for a green card. So I just had an incident, just had an appointment with a client. She came to my office because she was a victim of domestic violence in Belvedere. And actually, they're prosecuting her husband. So the state's attorney's office is also pressing charges. So technically, I can ask for the police report from the police station, or I can actually request it from the prosecutor's office. I actually have options. And normally when cases come to me my way, this way, I will try to shoot for both. You never know which one is actually going to want to give me the certification. And if I get both, I will submit them. If I only get one, that's the one that I will submit for my clients. And actually, I do have an example here of what a certification looks like. So I, as the attorney, the way I function in my office, I don't send my clients to go get the police report. I don't send my clients to get the certification. You as my clients, you probably have no idea what you're asking for. And so in my practice, what we do is we do the work for you. You're hiring us to be your attorney. I'm the one who's going to request the police report. I am the one who's going to request the certification, because you don't even know what you're asking for. I mean, you're going to go there and ask for something. They're going to tell you no, and you're going to just walk away. So for instance, I have actually a cover letter from the Wheaton Police Department. And so they're the ones who sent it to me saying, hey, we got your request for a certification. Your client was a victim of a crime. And actually, they sent me this sheet. This is what's called the U visa certification. This is signed by the police department stating, yes, this person was a victim of a crime. They cooperated with the authorities. We will sign your certification. And this thing is golden. This thing is only valid for 6 months. So in my office, again, it's a policy where we always submit all of our U visas within 5 months, because this thing is going to expire in 6 months, this signature. So when sometimes people tell me I have a U visa case with someone for a year, 2 years, 3 years, honestly, it shouldn't take that long. It should be a shorter period of time, especially if you do get the certification. And especially now, there's a new law, at least in Illinois. Again, I practice in the state of Illinois, where agencies have to fill out this certification actually within 90 days. So actually, we have a lot of tools to help us to be able to obtain this goal and being able to process your application soon. I also just had a client recently who came in actually, and her son will turn 21 in August. So we discussed the options of perhaps following the route of doing a U visa, but we must submit it before her child turns 21 in August. If we can submit the U visa by August, then his age will freeze, and therefore we can still submit the application, and we can wait for that application to be approved in the future, even after the child turns 21. Now, why is there such a delay? Why are U visas taking so long? So basically, there are only 10,000 U visas that are allocated. So under the regulations, there are only 10,000 U visas. So it is not enough visas. I mean, people are applying honestly like 12,000 U visas every month, every 2 months. So there's a huge backlog. Back in 2008, my example that I just gave you about my client who was held at gunpoint to her head, and she was 17 years old working at TCF, we were able to get her U visa within 8 months. 8 months, we got it. Now my clients have to wait approximately 6 years in order to be able to be put on the wait list. And this did not exist before. Now you're being placed on the wait list. Now people are always asking me, how do I find out what the status of my case is? Where do I stand? I don't know. My attorney hasn't done anything. And what I can tell you is that once we submit it with immigration, honestly, it is beyond our control. So you have to check what is your receipt date. What date do you have on? Right now, immigration is working on Uvsa applications from April 22nd, 2016. And we're what, February 2021? So as you can see, there is a delay. Now, where do you get your receipt number? Anytime you get notification from immigration, it's going to look like this, and you're always going to look on the upper left corner where it's going to say receipt. That's where you're going to know your receipt, and you're also going to know the receipt date. Underneath the receipt number, you see the receipt date. That is your date that immigration received your packet. This is going to be important for you. You should always hold on to this because you can always go back and check what month are they currently working on. And so take notes, because the next one is where I'm going to show you where you go to check what the status of your Uvsa is. We all have access to this. Just Google it, go to uscis.gov, processing times, and you're going to enter the form I-918. Again, how are you going to know this? Because your receipt, your sheet from immigration has all the answers. It's going to tell you the case type, which is I-918. That's what you're going to enter. And you're going to know that it was received by immigration. Like this example that I have, it was received by immigration on June 16, 2015. Okay, so now I know, because they're currently working on applications from April 22nd, 2016, this one should already be approved. And in fact, it was. I'm showing you actually on the other page. This is exactly what an employment authorization looks like. My client here, she was a victim of domestic violence. We were able to submit an application for her daughter to be able to do a employment authorization for under a Uvsa as an applicant along with her mother. So again, we submitted this back in 2015. As you can see, the processing time, it is taking a while. So I'm going to go back and put in here where you can check to see the status of your Uvsa. So again, you go to the web page, click on the I-918 and most of those applications, and I'm going to the Vermont Service Center. Once you go click on there, it will show you. And like I said, right now it's showing me that they're currently working on applications from April 22nd, 2016. So we still have a long wait. And actually, another thing I want to share with you is that currently the Biden administration has stated they want to add more Uvsa. So this would be wonderful, great news for my clients, because then that means he wants to add about 30,000 Uvsa applications per year instead of 10,000. That will honestly alleviate a lot of the backlog that we currently have or experiencing, where people are just waiting for that. Because I was saying earlier, right now, even if they approve the application, they're gonna just put you on a wait list because they don't have enough Uvsas. The good thing is, if they do put you on a wait list, you will get your employment authorization. You get protection from deportation. So that's a great thing. And then you will eventually get your Uvsa, which is gonna be valid now for 4 years. So how do you know if you're on the wait list or you have the Uvsa? You're on the wait list and your employment authorization is valid for 2 years. But thereafter, you will get the employment authorization that's valid for 4 years. And it's super important that you submit an application for your green card within 3 years. So if you have a Uvsa and you've been happy and you got employment authorization, oh, I got my Uvsa approved, check your employment authorization. Because if you've had it at least for 3 years, you're able to apply for a green card. So you might have forgotten, or you might have put it to the side, and time really crawls up on us. Check the application, because otherwise you will not get another chance. It is really difficult to request an extension. So like I said, this was just a conversation in regards to Uvsa updates, just the latest information as to what's going on. I get a lot of phone calls. What is the status? What cases are they currently working for the Uvsa? I'm giving you the tools and the information on how you guys can check it yourself. I'll remind you again that you can go to this website, on immigration's website, where you can put in the I-918 form, and you can see that they're currently working on applications from April 22nd of 2016. So don't forget to share this video and like our page. We're under Law Office of RSB Ltd. You can always also call our office if you have any questions, 312-226-4232. And again, I wanted to remind you that the first Monday of every month, we are going to be answering your questions. So make sure we have a chat form on our website. Make sure you do ask your questions, because I will be answering them live the first Monday of every month. So don't forget to like our webpage, continue to share this information. And if you have any questions, don't forget to give us a call. And thank you for being here with me today.